with the way my camera's set up. But I hope you can see some of the pictures. I think this is where we were last time. Also, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, let me know in the comments what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is. My favorite is stuffing. I love bread. I love carbs. Yum. Oh yeah, okay. So, candied sweet potatoes we have over here. Those look really good. It looks like they cut them into rounds and then seared them and glazed them. Then we have mashed sweet potatoes over here. They have a couple different iterations of this recipe. So they have just regular mashed sweet potatoes, mashed sweet potatoes with chipotle and lime, mashed sweet potatoes with curry and golden raisins, mashed sweet potatoes with jalapeno, garlic, and scallions, mashed sweet potatoes with maple and orange. Reinventing bread stuffing, my favorite, like I said. And they have some different ideas for stuffing too. But honestly, I really just like basic stuffing. I'm very passionate about that. And to be very honest with you, I really prefer like the stuffing that comes in a bag. And that's just because that's the way my mom always made it. So, but they have different kinds. Baked bread stuffing with sausage, dried cherries, and pecans. Do you guys say pecan or pecan? When I lived in Kentucky, I always got made fun of for saying pecan. But I always thought pecan sounded kind of pretentious. But it's not, of course, it's just different accents. Baked bread stuffing with fresh herbs. Baked bread stuffing with leeks, bacon, and apples. Extra crispy skillet stuffing. That sounds interesting. Browning equals flavor and crunch. This stuffing has the time-tested flavors of onion, celery, sage, and thyme. It's the crispy, crunchy texture that sets it apart. Basic bread stuffing. And then the thing I love about Cooks Illustrated is that they do like comparisons and they test out different cooking utensils or different ingredients, different ways to cook things. To be fun to work in their laboratory. Alright, wow, biscuit dressing. I love biscuits. Holiday stuffing made with biscuits. This Appalachian custom sounded promising. wasn't a surprise. So in their place, I baked a few batches of standard biscuits, crumpled them up, and began to make dressings. Well, I think they needed to let them dry out. Maybe that's what she'll talk about, because she said they got soggy. Okay. Interesting. I want to find out, so she says she realized she needed a less fluffy interior and more crusty biscuits. Okay, so it's like she found a better biscuit recipe that called for different ingredients. It said she made them smaller, actually, so they could be crispier. So instead of making them like big biscuits, she made them smaller, crispier biscuits. Very cool. Warm farro with cranberries. That sounds good. Great barley side dishes. I've never had barley. Well, I've had barley, but I've never had it during Thanksgiving. Roasted root vegetables. That looks really good. But it concerns me that, well, I guess everything is about the same size here. Okay, that's cool. It's very important to make sure all of the things that you're roasting are about the same size. Shaping roots for roasting. Talks about how to cut up celery root planks, carrot sticks, parsnip discs, whole shallots, turnip chunks. I know not everyone is in the US that watches this, but I wonder, like, what are your favorite holiday dishes if you don't live in America? And like, what are your favorite holidays? Even though Thanksgiving is rooted in kind of colonization, and that's just not okay. Thanksgiving kind of represents family to me. Actually, it represents feasting, delicious feasting. I love food so much. Anyway, roasted Brussels sprouts. How do you guys feel about Brussels sprouts? At the restaurant I worked at in Kentucky, we made amazing Brussels sprouts. We basically just deep fried them raw and then made a brown butter sauce to go over them. So we deep fried them and then covered them in brown butter. And the sauce had like orange juice that made it a little bit sweet. And it also had some sriracha, or no, sorry, it had gochujang, the fermented chili paste. That it's a Korean chili paste. Had a bunch of other stuff in it too, and then we topped them with tahini. It's like dehydrated lime and chili. God, they were so good. I do miss those. Roasted green beans. That is so good to know. Oh, spinach gratin. I've never heard of that. Butternut squash gratin. Lots of different. Oh my gosh, Brussels sprout gratin. Some people hate Brussels sprouts, but I love them. Especially when they're covered in cream and bread and butter and fat. Fat and carbs. Green bean casserole, extra crunchy. Cauliflower gratin. Science. I like to read about the science. I don't know how you feel about it. All vegetables contain both soluble and insoluble fiber. The soluble kind fully breaks down during cooking, but the insoluble kind does not. Cauliflower has a leg up on other vegetables because it is very low in overall fiber, and only half of its fiber is insoluble. This allows us to easily puree cauliflower into a silky smooth sauce. No need to weigh down our gratin with lots of cream. Green beans with bacon and onion. Love bacon. Braised root vegetables. Ooh, cheese logs. I love cheese. Cheddar cheese log with chives. Cheese log just doesn't sound very sophisticated. Blue cheese with walnuts and honey. Chili cheese log with tortilla chips. Wow. Goat cheese log with herb de Provence. Pimento cheese log with bacon. That sounds delicious. If you've never had pimento cheese, you need to get yourself some. I had never had it before because I'm from the Northeast, and it's kind of a southern thing, I think. But when I moved to Kentucky, damn, I ate a lot of pimento cheese. Oops. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's kind of stuck together. We'll skip that page. Ooh, post-holiday turkey soup. Let's read about making turkey stock. Alright, so they tested these recipes. It says, at every turn, we were happy to find that doing less produced a better tasting stock. Test 1. Roast bones. Roasting the bones once the cooked meat was picked from the carcass produced a dark stock that tasted like generic meat broth. But we did like the pure poultry flavor. Test 2. Add vegetables. Stocks containing onion, carrot, and celery, whether added raw or roasted first, tasted too vegetal or sweet. We preferred the clean flavor of stock made with no vegetables. Interesting. Wow. Test 3. Evaluate simmering time. We simmered identical water and bone stocks for 1, 2, 3, and 4 hours, respectively. After chilling overnight, the 1-hour stock was slightly thickened, indicating that it contained only a small amount of gelatin. The 2, 3, and 4-hour stocks, on the other hand, contained enough gelatin to set up like Jell-O. That's crazy. The hallmark of a good stock, and the longer cooked stocks tasted no better than the 2-hour version. Okay, so a 2-hour simmer that's not so bad. It seems like it doesn't take that long, and if you have a mixer, then that's super helpful. But if you don't, then you have to knead it, of course. Sweet potato cornbread. That sounds so good. Ooh, testing silicone spatula. I love my silicone spatula. The fluffiest dinner rolls. Wow, I love dinner rolls. Interesting. What makes these rolls unique? An Asian bread making technique called Tang Song. Never heard of that. Produces exceptionally moist rolls by incorporating a good amount of water. Kneading the dough for 10 minutes creates the structure needed to support the extra liquid, and a special shaping method delivers the delicate sheet-like layers. Oh, yum! I love that. You roll up the dough. Wow, butter pan rolls. I wanted to make these last year, but I ran out of time. Cornmeal drop biscuits. I don't know what we're gonna do this year. I mean, it's just gonna be me and my roommates. We're not traveling anywhere. My brother wants to roast a duck. Which sounds good, I don't know. Deep dish apple pie. I really do like apple pie, but my brother and Julie do not. Which is fine. Make ahead pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. But what makes it so much better is hand whipped or whisked whipped cream. So good. At the last restaurant I worked at, whenever we would get a dessert order, I would have to whip the cream to order, and it was really hard, but I got way better at it. But honestly, that was kind of ridiculous. We didn't really need to do that. We could have just kept a small amount on hand, and that would have saved a lot of time and stress. That kitchen was ridiculous, honestly, but I met some really good people there. Pear crisp. I love apple crisp and blueberry crisp. My mom used to make those a lot. Cranberry upside down cake, to be honest. That sounds like a little much. Oops. I can't really get that out, but that's okay. Pumpkin cheesecake. Holy crap, that looks freaking fantastic. It's like a perfect piece. I bet whoever cut that piece was like, damn, this is a perfect piece. Wow. Pear walnut upside down cake. That is a beauty. That's gorgeous. Have you guys been watching Great British Baking Show or Great British Bake Off or whatever? I have been. It's been an absolute delight. I'm so glad they decided to do it. Apple bundt cake. 1 cup equals 3 pounds of flavor. You can pack only so much fresh apple into a cake, but for the fruit's moisture makes the crumbs soggy. We maximize the apple flavor by supplementing grated apple with an apple cider concentrate. Apple cider itself is a form of concentrate. There are about 3 pounds of apples in every quart of cider, which we further intensified by reducing this volume to 1 cup burned it. It was so sad. It definitely didn't look like that though. Well, yeah. Yeah, see, this page is all like crinkled up because I was, studying it and it was all for naught. All for naught. That's okay. Cranberry pecan tart has some recommendations on how to fit the tart into the pan, or the tart dough into the pan. Ooh, pecan bars. That sounds good. Apple turnovers, delicious. I kind of want to make some of those with these Washington apples. But it's kind of past apple season. The most recent apples I got were not very good. But that's okay. Okay, guys. We have finished this magazine. I'm not sure what we'll do next Saturday, but I'll find something. Maybe I'll buy a new magazine, or let me know what you guys want to see. I was thinking about actually going through this art supply magazine. I think that's probably what I'll do. But I also have a bunch of other cooking magazines that I just randomly got. I don't even think I signed up for them, and I don't think I'm paying for them, so I don't know what that's about. My last boss said that he sent people magazine subscriptions, like free ones, to get, like, as a vengeful move, you know what I mean? Like, he would send his enemies magazine subscriptions. I don't know, he was a little out there. So maybe he's sending me all these free magazines because he doesn't like me. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday. Get some rest. Take care of yourself. Do whatever you want. I love the weekend days because I try to just do whatever I want. That might sound kind of selfish, but it works for me because I'm someone who has trouble relaxing sometimes. Anyway, okay. Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Bye, guys.